Have you ever wanted to master the tactics of Borussia Dortmund? Control the pitch with the masterclass of Bellingham, Royce, and Adeyemi, but didn't want to lead the Premier League? Well, now's your chance. BVB Dortmund's 4-2-3-1 is a tactic I grabbed off the Steam Workshop simply because of the name. I love Borussia Dortmund. I have loved them for a long time. Even though they're not my full supporting team of Liverpool, I still love Borussia Dortmund. I love watching them play, or at least I used to when I could. Now, lately with that, I don't know much about Dortmund's tactics, how they're using Bellingham, Royce, or Adeyemi, if they're using them properly or not. So this is simply a tactic I grabbed from the Steam Workshop because of the name. I figured, hey, let's dive in and see if the likes of Man City, Leeds, and Bournemouth can handle such a new tactic. Now, the tactics description does say that it is for strong teams and relegation clubs both. They're both suitable. So let's check it out. As for the tactic itself, as you can see, it is a positive 4-2-3-1. You have a sweeper keeper in support. You have a complete wingback on attack, both right and left. You have a ball-playing defender in defense, both on the right and left. You have two DMs in support. You have an inside forward on attack on both sides. You have an attacking midfielder in attack in the central spot. And you have an advanced forward in attack up front. In possession, fairly wide, play out of defense, higher tempo, slightly shorter passing directness, work the ball into the box, low crosses. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the fullbacks, and throw it long. And then out of possession, you have a higher press line of engagement, a higher defensive line, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, trigger press much more often, which we always see. And that is your tactic right there. But now, how did the teams do? As you can see, every single team that we played with this tactic has exceeded what they were supposed to be at the start of the season. Bournemouth, scheduled to be dead last, has come up to 13th. Probably not the greatest climb that you've ever seen, but still out of relegation by somewhat good amount, 9 points, not too bad. Leeds, however, from 10th to 6th into those UEFA Europa League spots. So 61 points, 17, 10, and 11. Not too bad for them. And then Man City absolutely crushing it. 33 wins, 4 draws, 1 loss to Fulham of all teams. 103 points. They've won the league way back. So that's what, 19 points clear of Liverpool? A fantastic result for them. They won weeks ago. Absolutely amazing. Schedule-wise, if we take a look, an absolute sea of green. I mean, Bournemouth with the draw, 1-1. They cruised through the Champions League group stage, apparently. No losses whatsoever until the Fulham loss on January 21st. Leeds, they beat only 2-1 away from home. Leeds again 3-0 in the quarterfinals of the EFL. And then Leeds again 8-0 at home. I mean, this team is insane. Milan 1-1 draw in the Champions League round of 16. Brentford 1-1 draw away from home. Quarterfinals of the Champions League, 4-2 winners over Bayern and 0-0 over Bayern. So apparently, there you go. Losing out to Inter, 1-2 away from home and 2-3 at home. So they did not do very well there. Very close, however, but not close enough. They lose out in the semifinals of the Champions League to Inter. Finishing out the season, though, Bournemouth 3-3 draw. And as you can see, they do win in extra time 2-1 in the FA Cup final against Manchester United. So quite a Manchester derby there. Leeds a lot more spotty. You could see starting off with 2 draws in a row, Southampton and Bournemouth, both away from home and at home. Coming into a couple of wins, a great win against Newcastle. But then falling just back into the greens and then yellow and then greens and then yellow and red. So a lot more spotty. There's a much bigger season of red here where you've got no wins from December 26th, so Boxing Day, all the way to February 4th against Chelsea. Well, against February 8th against Nottingham Forest, actually. But finishing out the season, though, very nicely. From Bournemouth all the way down to Fulham, so not too bad there. That 8-0 drubbing away from home at Man City just hurts, though. But Bournemouth 3-2 win. Man City that loss. Man City, we've seen that. So Bournemouth that 3-all draw. Overall, average against the other teams. But, I mean, to come up in sixth place, I know you're scheduled to be 10th, but sixth place brings you the money into that UEFA Europa or the Europa League. Not Champions League just yet, but it brings you a place to grow from. So that's actually pretty nice. Bournemouth, on the other hand, are a completely different story. Starting out nicely, I mean, Manchester United 2-all draw at home. Leeds United 3-all. We've already seen that. Everton 1-all. So I'm fine looking at this type of thing where you're starting out with 3 draws in a row, winning against Wimbledon, but then the only 2 wins you see in the first 3 months, all the way through the end of October, is Leicester, which is a nice win, 2-1, and then AFC Wimbledon in the EFL Cup second round. Unfortunately, different story throughout the center of the league, and then finishing not so strong. You do have 3 wins here in the last 2 months, but nothing in May. It's kind of disheartening to see. But again, Bournemouth end up in 13, so you're not expecting win after win after win. It looks like they did pull some nice wins out of their hat, which is what they needed. They did well in the FA Cup all the way to the Aston Villa loss, and then the EFL Cup quarters losing against Brighton, but we'll see that in a minute. Overall, not too bad for Bournemouth. It does give them a bit more money to play with in the transfer market that they can, you could see where they skyrocket from here, possibly. As we saw, they were knocked out in the 5th round by Aston Villa. The FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, they were knocked out in the quarters by Brighton and Hove Albion. For Leeds in the competitions, knocked out in the 3rd round by Wolves in the FA Cup, knocked out in the quarters by Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. And as we go to Manchester City, they obviously won the league, so that's trophy number 1. Knocked out in the semis by Inter of the UEFA Champions League. The one cup that they desperately want to get their hands on, they still can't. But FA Cup winners, Carabao Cup winners, FA Community Shield winners, 4 trophy season, still not a damn bad season for them. And 103 whopping points. If I was ever a Man City fan, I would definitely be happy with this season, but that Champions League still eludes them for the longest time. I can't remember. Have any of my tactics actually had them win the Champions League? But again, there's no transfers happening throughout this process. It is straight day 1 all the way to the last day of the season and beyond. No transfers whatsoever. So it's the same squad. Nobody's coming, nobody's going. So definitely could change things if they were able to bring in a couple people and sell some deadwood. So moving into the stats, you can see goals, 121 goals for Man City, 82 for Liverpool, Leeds with 61. Bournemouth not in the mix. Fewest shots against Man City and Leeds. Most possession, none of them. Dribbles made, City, Leeds, and Bournemouth all in the top 5 spots. Fewest conceded, Man City with 24, Tottenham with 32, and Liverpool with 36. Interesting. Most shutouts, Man City. So Ederson probably with 21 or thereabouts. Most tackles won, Bournemouth and Leeds. Again, the defensive pieces, you would expect Leeds and Bournemouth. Nothing for best completion. Most shots for Man City and Leeds in 6, 525. So not too shabby there. Man City was 799. Just one more shot that could have broken that 800 mark. And most points per game, both Man City and Leeds in 6, 1.61 to 2.71. And if we go to the player overview, most goals, Haaland, of course. 50 goals in 38 appearances. 104 shots. I mean, he got most of those shots. No one else in the top 8 spots, though. 2 players, though, Salah and Diaz for Liverpool. Most assists, Sergio Gomez with 15, Bernardo Silva with 14, Phil Foden with 11, and Brendan Aronson, I didn't even see him, leads it with 11. That seems to be roundabout average, right? Between 10 to 15 assists per season. Most man of the match awards, 14, Erling Haaland, 796. Human cheat right there. Best pass completion, nobody. Most dribbles made, you get Lloyd Kelly with 117, Kyle Walker with Man City 116. Fewest conceded, there you go. Ederson with 23 allowed, 20 shutouts. So one shutout was his backup, I guess. Most shutouts, there you go. Ederson with 20. But no one else in the list. Most tackles won, Ryan Christie with 102. Most key passes, Sergio Gomez 123. Damn. Ryan Christie with 101. Erling Haaland, most shots as we just saw, 184 shots. My God. Salah with 118 in second in the list. That is just insane. And as you can see, looking just at Man City's home screen, Erling Haaland with a whopping 86 goals overall in all competitions, highest average rating 8.01, most assists 23 overall, best pass completion 91%, most man of the match awards 24 for Haaland, João Cancelo with the most yellow, and Calvin Phillips with the most red. If I look at the other home screens, anything big, Bamford with 15 goals for Leeds, 7.11, Brendan Aronson as the highest rating, 11 assists. Not too bad. Patrick Bamford and Luis Sinisterra, 4 player of the match awards each. And then finishing out with Bournemouth, if we go there, 18 goals for Dominic Solanke, 696 is the highest average rating for Lloyd Kelly. That is not great. Most assists, 15 assists though. 18 goals, 15 assists, and Lloyd Kelly has the best average rating at a 696. That hurts. Neto and Ryan Christie with 4 player of the match awards each. But overall, I will say, not the most dominant tactic that I've seen yet. However, it has done a fairly good job, especially for Man City. Leeds, again, coming up into the Europa League spots. Bournemouth avoiding relegation somewhat by 9 points. So overall, not a bad tactic to start with. Definitely not, finding Leeds dead last like we've seen before. So something to take a look at, but there are definitely others that are out there that are better. So anyway, that is it for me. Seffian FM for the BVB Dortmunds 4-2-3-1. I think it's like the version 2 DM version tactic. I don't know. But I will link to the tactic down below. And yeah, check it out. So anyway, that is it for me, Seffian FM. Thank you so much for watching for the Football Manager blog channel, saying take care and enjoy.